Hi, thanks for joining us for this month's DPS webcast titled IBM Update. I am Mike Estes. I'm a hardware and software support analyst here at DPS. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's go ahead and get started. I have a number of things I'll be covering today in the webcast. On the agenda for today is POWER8, V7R2. Both of those were recently announced back in April. RDX technology, PTFs, what they are and staying updated on them, and V5R4, and just a warning to those that are still on V5R4. POWER8 and V7R2, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes, were both announced on April 28, 2014. There were 5 new POWER8 models that came out. Only 2 of those, however, run IBM I. The models that were announced were the S812L, the S814, the S822, the S822L, and the S824. Here today, I'm just going to give you a high-level overview on the S814 and the S824. Both of those are the models that run IBM I, and so we'll focus on those today. And the others run AIX. One of them does, and Linux. The other 2 just run Linux, and I'll talk about those here in a second as well. The S814 is the smaller of the 2 models that will run IBM I. It requires a minimum of 16 gig of memory. Will run IBM I, AIX, or Linux on Power. 2 processor options here. There's a 6-core 3 gigahertz processor and an 8-core 3.7 gigahertz processor. Both of those are POWER8 chips. Each of them can have 4 USB 3.0 ports, energy scale technology, 2 hot plug redundant power supplies come with each, and they can either be tower or rack mounted. For IBM I, V7R2 can run on it, or IBM I V7R1 as well. 7.1 requires technology refresh 8, and I'm going to get more into the technology refreshes here in a little bit. The 6-core system has a CPW up to 59,500, the 8-core system up to 85,500. The S824 is the larger of the 2 models that will support IBM I. It requires a minimum of 16 gig of memory like the S814. It can also run IBM I, AIX, and Linux on Power. Come in several options here. We have a 1 or 2 6-core 3.589 POWER8 processor cards, or 1 or 2 8-core 4.15 gigahertz POWER8 processor cards, as well as an option for 2 12-core 3.5 gigahertz processor cards. They have 4 USB ports, 4 hot plug redundant power supplies are with this, energy scale technology as well, and also on IBM I, it will run 7.2 or 7.1 with the technology refresh 8. The CPW on the 6-core system begins at 72,000 with all 6 cores or all 6 processors activated, and goes up to 230,500 CPW for the 2x12 processor cards with all processors activated. Real quickly, I want to mention the 3 systems that do not run IBM I. They're the S812L, the S822, and the S822L. The 2 models with the L at the end run Linux on Power only, and the S822 runs AIX and Linux on Power. Touching on IBM I 7.2, or V7R2 as some call it, it was announced as well on April 28th. Included enhancements to iAccess client solutions. There were new functions for some programmer productivity, enhanced security options in DB2 for I, support for the new Power systems, the new POWER8 models, as well as extensions of security to more applications through single sign-on environments. For those of you running the DPS suite of products such as Extend or Zap, we would recommend holding off on any upgrades to V7R2 as we are just beginning the testing stages on that ourselves here at DPS. Switching gears, I'm going to move on to RDX. Removable disk cartridges. They're a disk backup solution comparable to tape. They're very durable and reliable, affordable, high capacity, shock resistant. Internal and external options exist. Over to the right you can see pictures of the 3.0 USB 3.0 internal drive and the USB 3.0 external drive. Both of those are RDX drives. They're a great entry tape alternative to DAT72, 8mm, 4mm tape. They're available on POWER6, POWER7, and POWER8 systems. They're fast and efficient and have USB performance up to 96 meg per second. One of the great things with the RDX is that there are no cleaning operations or cleaning of the drives. They are great for dirty environments such as back office, storeroom, warehouse, as many of you are, scenarios. They are rugged, designed to withstand drops from tabletop heights of approximately 3 feet. They're available from 160 gig to 1.5 terabyte cartridges, and those size cartridges will work in any of the drives. They have a lower total cost of ownership. They are pretty inexpensive compared to LTO. The drive itself is about 1/3 of the price. Cartridges cost a little more, but the total cost there and the lifespan on the cartridges is well worth the value here. They are very durable, have up to 50 times more load and unloads with these cartridges. As I mentioned, there's no cleaning operations. It's a great way to save money, as well as the save restore issues that can be caused if you have dirty tape heads and have restore issues. From a software perspective, the RDX technology does require IBM i 6.1.1 with PTFs or 7.1 with technology release 5. I'll be getting more into the technology releases and the PTFs here on the next screen. PTFs are program temporary fixes that are specific to each release, such as V6R1, V7R1. They are designed to be fixes and improve functionality. Also can support additional new hardware, especially true in the technology refreshes, which I'll get to in a moment. They come in individual, group, and cumulative. The individual PTFs are just as they say they are. They're a single individual PTF that you can apply. A group PTF is a collection of PTFs that are related to a part of the operating system or an integrated application such as HTTP server, WebSphere application server. There are also group hypers, which are a collection of PTFs that fix issues that are deemed high impact. Those are released on a regular, frequent basis when issues arise. Also, cumulative PTFs, CUMs as they're also known, contain a large amount of fix and updates as well, but they do not include all PTFs that IBM has for that certain release, and does not necessarily include all of the group PTFs. The link here will take you to the Preventative Service Planning page. Here on the Preventative Service Planning page, you can see PTF groups by release, by last update. You can see all preventative service planning documents and documents by release. For instance, if I click on the PTF groups by release, I can look at the software versions, V7R2, 7.1, 6.1, and 5.4 to see what is available. I'll click on 7.1 here. And here are all of the PTFs that are available, all the group PTFs. Also, you can click on the PTF cover letters and it comes up with this page. The PTF cover letters basically give a description of why the PTF, what it is. If I click on this, you'll see that all the PTFs that are available are there. Technology refreshes are something fairly new, at least since 7.1 came out. Those of you on V6R1, V5R4, that will not apply, but for V7R1 customers, we're up to Technology Release 8, which will be available June 6th. That was recently announced just before the April POWER8 and V7R2 announcement. Technology refreshes offer performance improvements, software enhancements, and they can be required by subsequent PTFs in order to run that. They can include such things as support for new hardware, such as drives or external storage support, such as I mentioned earlier. Technology Release 5 was required for the RDX technology on V7R1. One thing to note is that technology refreshes, they do encompass everything that was included in the previous technology release, so you don't have to worry about installing Technology Release 5 before installing 6. So if you're on Technology Release 2, for instance, you don't need to go to 3, go to 4, go to 5, go to 6, etc. Technology Release 7 is the last technology release currently available. Technology Release 8, as I mentioned, comes out in June, so about 3 more weeks until that is available. They offer support for new RAID adapters, support for higher capacity SSD drives. There's improvements for IBM DB2 on the IBM i, and they continue IBM's direction of offering continued simplicity, stability, and security to their solutions. This is a timeline of the technology refreshes IBM has announced for V7R1. We're, as I mentioned, on technology release 8 coming out in June. If you ordered V7R1 in, say, October of 2010, you'd be on technology release 1 if you've made no further improvements to that or updates. So you could be missing out on 7 technology releases worth of improvements that could enhance your business. Here is a link to IBM's recommended fixes regarding PTFs. I will send that link out as well as the other links I've included here in this presentation to those of you that signed up for the webcast. And if anyone else in your organization needs those, feel free to have them contact me or forward those on. Have a plan to stay current on PTFs and fixes. You could be missing out on crucial fixes to the software that would help you run your business more efficiently. If you have any questions about those, contact me. Or if you have questions about, hey, how can DPS help you stay current on PTFs, contact your sales rep for that. The recommended fixes link brings you to this page, which has information on the latest fixes and current fixes that are available. Has recommendations for specific products or functions. So if I look at 7.1, I see I-Series Access, AS400 Net Server, BRMS, Electronic Services, High Availability, HMC Code Updates, Management Central, Ops Console, Print Issues, Firmware, and Temporary Disk Space, amongst others. There's PTFs related to each of those, and you can search for those by PTF. So if I click on I-Series Access, it brings me to the IBM I recommended fixes for I-Series Access, and has the list of all PTFs related to that. I'd highly recommend you go check out this page if you are not current on PTFs. Great way to see what exactly you're missing there, what fixes you're missing, and which ones that you may want to consider loading. In terms of staying current and having a plan, I just want to remind those of you that are still on V5R4 that support services for IBM i 5.4 will end on September 30th, 2016. When that support was extended, it was extended for 3 years, which will end September 30th of 2016. Very few, if any, PTF packages are being released. No new enhancements to the software is coming out. And also, you're paying a premium. You're paying approximately, on a P5 processor group, you're paying about 60% more for the extended support than you are for someone just paying for SWAMA on V7R1. If you are on V5R4, I would highly recommend you consider using the money you're paying for the premium on the extended maintenance towards a new system. That is something I can get for you along with your sales rep, so contact them if you are interested in looking at that in an upgrade or a new system to a POWER7 model, or depending on the size of your current system, to one of the new POWER8 models. Thank you so much for joining us for the IBM update today. I appreciate your time. Again, my name is Mike Estes. You can reach me at the phone number and email address below. I will also send that out to you via email for those of you that registered. And if you want to forward that on to anyone else in your organization, feel free. You can also contact your sales rep for any hardware related questions, and they can get that to me or others on our team here. And with that, give me just a moment. I'm going to open the floor up for Q&A.